The USA will not let China flood its auto market. China's electric vehicles pose an existential threat to the U.S. car industry, auto executives fear. The speedy rise of the country's EV industry means it is not only satiating demand at home but also supplying low-cost EVs abroad. To address this, among many other trade issues, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen traveled to Beijing this past week, and her message to her Chinese counterpart was clear. "You're producing too much stuff. It's Monday, and we're back this week with critical materials, your daily roundup of key events unfolding in the EV space. It's a balmy 60 degrees Fahrenheit in New York, and today we're discussing more about Yellen's complaints about China. A critical Tesla autopilot trial that's expected to begin in California this week, and the explosive footfall at New York Auto Show's EV test track. Yellen was in China this past week on a 4-day trip to address Beijing's industrial overcapacity and how it's impacting the global economy. Just to show you where China's EV exports are going, nearly 20% of the roughly 300,000 EVs sold in the European Union last year were made in China, one NGO said. Moreover, Chinese automakers like BYD are also seeking to take control of the Latin American EV market. That simply cannot happen in the U.S., Yellen referred to the China shock of the early 2000s when Chinese imports destroyed some 2 million American jobs. China's Minister of Commerce Wang Wentao responded to some of these concerns during a roundtable in Paris with executives from more than 10 Chinese firms, including BYD, Geely, and CATL. Wentao said Chinese EV makers rely on continuous technological innovation and sufficient market competition to develop rapidly, and not just subsidies to gain competitive advantages. He added that China's EV industry is actively responding to climate change and embracing a green and low-carbon transformation. He doubled down on the Chinese government's active support for enterprises in safeguarding their legitimate rights and interests. This may be true for the auto industry, but the rise of Chinese EVs contradicts the country's renewed investments in coal-fired power plants. The country approved 2 coal power plants every week last year. All said, Yellen has not threatened any additional tariffs on Chinese imports for now but did not rule out that possibility either. Source: reposted and summarized from @insideevs.